By Patrick Eads, his staff, his great service department, which is his staff. At Deary Brothers Ford on Mormon Trek. Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Mike Z. Keys for Cars. GT Car and his crew at Supple's Building and Remodeling. Supple's Flowers, home of 1-800-800-ROSE. The Midtown Family Restaurants. Hertine and Stocker Jewelers, 101 South Dubuque Street, downtown Iowa City. Diamond Dreams Sports Academy. Senior Benefits. Premier Automotive in North Liberty. The Ox Yoke Inn in the Amanas. Streets Maintenance, Remodeling and Plumbing. Dr. Lance Forbes, Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids. I will be calling you in the next couple of weeks. I lost the filling. And Big Dog Tech Solutions. Here is Tom Suter, Pat Harty from HawkFanatic.com. I had a request, which I can't play. I don't know where it is. Hunter's probably got it on one of his collections. Jesse Colin Young died.
Saw that.
Do you know anything about him, Pat?
From what did he do?
He did.
Everybody get together.
Yeah,
I thought that was the Youngbloods.
It was,
Yeah.
but he was their singer.
He was a singer. Okay, yeah. Then obviously I knew it. Yeah. I had that album.
I remember that, of course.
What did he die of?
And played that. He was 83. He had problems.
Okay.
But the thing I remember most about him is he was to appear on the Tonight Show, and I just happened to be watching the Tonight Show. I wasn't watching to see him, but Johnny Carson came on and was pissed off and said he didn't like the sound and that they.
He said that while introducing the band.
They didn't show up. He kicked them off. He kicked them off.
Why?
The show. Because they were bitching about the sound that they were getting. And
what song were they going to do? That song?
Yeah, and he said,
I kind of like that song.
He said,
I always have.
Probably never hear from you again.
They did okay.
What he said.
It was an anthem.
Yeah,
You know?
it was a very popular song, but I've always kind of liked it.
Yeah.
That's why I bought that album. Now I haven't listened to that album for like 25 years.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home and crank it today.
I do. Like the first thing you always think of, is what did he die of?
Well, 83. I mean, when I asked you what he died of, you said he died of 83. Basically,
Yeah, he died
I mean, it could have been it could have been a lot of.
He had,
things. But age, age, of course.
Some people live 20 more years than that, though.
Yeah, but not most people don't live to 103.
No, they don't.
Yeah, hardly any do. But it would be nice if they did. My parents both lived to 91, almost to 92.
I'll take 7 more years, I guess.
You're 76?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Just take it one day at a time.
Sweet Jesus.
Just like Kirk and Fran used to say.
Yeah.
One day at a time. One practice at a time.
One team at
one
a time.
play at a time.
Yeah.
Just one repetition at a time.
This
is repetition.
You're looking at one repetition for 60 years.
It is funny, though, now you guys do realize, and I'm so happy as a Drake grad, but you realize now that Ben McCollum is the greatest coach in the history of college football. I mean, it's never been DeVries. It's always been McCollum. That's. Have you noticed? Have you seen that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
DeVries, whatever, traitor. He's not loyal. McCollum, and I think it's funny if they hire him. Great. I mean, I'll be fine with it. But he's the darling.
Well, Drake sure looked good last night. I'll give him that.
Yeah, they're deep. Well, they've looked good all year. How many times have you watched them?
A couple.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched them a lot. That's how they play.
Yeah, that's a good team.
That's how they play. They play great defense. It's not the funnest to watch.
Boy, it's solid.
On offense, man. Well, I'm talking about their offense. The offense is a little methodical, but, man, they're connected, and these guys have been playing for a lot of years together, and they know each other, and that helps.
And they block out, man.
They do, and they've got – that Tavion Banks and a couple of those they've got some good athletes. And Sturtz, he's a 6'4" point guard, and he is just really good with the ball.
He is.
But it's their defense more than anything, and it was fun seeing Dolph Pulliam and them behind the bench wearing the Ben McCollum coaching attire. Dolph was one of the starters on the 69 team that made it to the Final Four. And then after that, they had only won one NCAA game, and that came 2 years later in 71. And I do remember that one. I think Jeff Halliburton was maybe on that team, if I was barely getting old enough to realize, oh, Drake, there's a basketball team there. But then after that, boy, 70s, they were mistakenly, though. I think it was Andy Katz said something. Drake never had success prior to the DeVries.
That's not true.
They forgot all about the Tom Davis, Keno Davis run.
Yeah.
I mean, Keno had so much success. He did what Darian DeVries did. It just didn't work out. He got his big job.
Yeah, he did.
So, but no, and then Tom had success and kind of handed it over to. So Drake has been doing this for a while. Now they did have a gap between Tom and Keno and where they are now, but Drake's been doing this for the better part of 2 decades now.
Yeah.
And it's been impressive. But no, man, I was really pulling for him last night. It was fun to watch. Tony wasn't in at the end. Didn't look real happy.
He didn't play very well.
He didn't play very well. He had a couple moments, but yeah, it was just weird watching Tony sitting there on the bench at the end losing to Drake. I mean, it was just the irony and everything. Just the circuit. It was just kind of bizarre.
Well, Tony played like I remember Tony playing. You never know what you're going to get. Great player when he was on, and he made some inexplicable bad plays from time to time.
He did, and sometimes he didn't look really excited at the end. I know they were losing, but I think being on the bench and losing made it even worse. I almost hindsight, but you wonder. Although one thing is Tony was kind of competing with Josh for that role and I think Josh has got more upside than Tony. That's just me. I mean,
I'm with you.
And I just wonder if that's part of it. I just think Josh is a little bit better than Tony overall. I think they're both really good players, and we'll see what Karn thinks.
Hello.
Hello. Well, I thought Drake did a real good job except for their free throws.
Yeah, they did miss some free throws. Yeah. Hopefully that's something you can fix. I mean,
yeah, they seem to have problems with that. Other than that, they did a very good job.
Yep.
And remember, there was a mascot that was a bird, and it would flop its wings through the whole game. What team was that?
What year?
No idea.
Well, this was quite a few years ago, but they came to to Iowa, and the bird would sit there and flop one wing, and then get tired with that, and he could flop the other wing, and he did it through the whole game. Never stopped flopping.
Are you off your meds, Karen?
No, I remember that.
I have no idea.
When we went over there to when Iowa was playing them. But
no idea.
Bird.
Sorry. We've played a lot of bird.
Wing the whole time through.
We've played a lot of bird mascot teams.
Here's some Iowa wrestling news. Parco has officially medically forfeited out of the rest of the tournament. Man, and Penn State was 20-0 through the court through the first 2 rounds.
I remember when Iowa did that.
Yeah, I mean it's just Penn State. Incredible, but
we had 2 guys eliminated yesterday.
Yeah, one of them was Teamer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not. They had 5 in the quarterfinals. Now I guess it's down to 4. So this not like we had. I mean, the goal was to try to finish second, obviously, but that's going to be tough.
Well, we were 4th going into today.
Yep.
We were tied.
Yep.
Tied for 4th, and I don't know. We need to get more bonus points, and that's what Penn State's good at is bonus points.
Well, they also win in most of their matches.
Well, they won all 20 yesterday.
I know. Yes.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. But I remember back when Iowa did that. In fact, Iowa would have had it won on a Friday night.
Those were the good old days.
Yep.
Well, they ain't here now.
No, they're not.
No.
Do you think they'll ever come back?
Not as long as Sanderson's at Penn State.
No, exactly. That.
Yeah.
Did you see the guy that beat Spencer Lee just enrolled at Penn State?
Seriously?
Yeah, he's going to be their
that Ramos?
No, Ono from Japan. He's going to be their.
Oh, that guy.
He's going to be their 133-pounder next year.
Jeez.
Wow.
Well, I guess if you got the money, you got the money.
Well, Iowa Wrestling has money. Well,
they've spent it on the wrong guys, evidently.
Well, Buchanan's been.
He's been good.
Buchanan's been pretty good. I mean, injuries to Parco and Teamer have been a factor, but no, it hasn't gone well.
Well, I'll try to look up the bird, Karn.
Okay, well, look up the bird, because there is such a thing. I didn't imagine it.
No, I'm sure you didn't. It's just I don't know how you find something like that out. Because, I mean, literally we've played hundreds of bird mascots.
Yeah. Well, I remember this one, and there weren't very many people in the place because they were playing another team. It was back when
what year
Iowa was playing one team, but Iowa didn't play this team. Well, I sat and watched him, and the whole game he sat there and kept flapping his wing up and down.
Okay. I believe you.
I'll try to find it.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
we'll
Karen.
see you guys. Bye.
I mean, that's going to be impossible to find.
Look up old
Give it a try.
and stuff.
I'd spend the afternoon looking.
Yeah.
I just my wrestling source just said that either only 3 or 4 of Penn State's first 20 matches were not bonus points. Meaning like 16 or 17 of them were bonus points.
It's just ridiculous.
It's just, I mean, it's not interesting.
Ted Supel, the mascot bird Karn's talking about is from St. Joseph.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
That's the bird.
Out of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, why does Ted
And then
remember
Tommy,
that?
And then Tommy says the same
Why do they
thing.
remember that?
I don't know.
How do they remember
you
that?
humiliated me when you made me dress up as Shucks.
I didn't have anything to do with that.
Who had something to do? Who did
I had
that?
nothing to do with
Then
that.
why did I do that?
I have no idea.
Either money or attention.
No, I
right?
had
Well,
nothing to
what
do with
attention
that.
when you got a baseball as a head?
Hey, that's the guy from KCJJ underneath.
Nobody knew.
Oh, they didn't say. And
I
playing
don't-
Mr. Shucks tonight.
I
is
don't
Casey.
remember. It was ridiculous. And then the woman that was the real Mr. Shucks, she's talking like, she's advancing. She wanted to go to Davenport and be the mascot and then
So
build
from Cedar
herself
Rapids
up.
to Davenport's a step up.
Yeah, evidently. And then,
That seems like a lateral move to me.
one day she'll be
That
in,
seems like the epitome of a lateral move.
I just looked at her and said, and then Chicago and then the world.
Now there's,
She got a little pissed off.
Oh, you were mocking her?
Well, yeah.
Why would you mock Mrs. Shucks?
Mrs. Shucks sucked. And and I was a bad I couldn't see out of the damn
Too
head.
short, and your knee was probably bugging you, wasn't it?
Huh?
Was your
Yeah,
knee
she
bugging you?
was tall.
Yeah, I couldn't see out of the head. And she's going, now,
So it's like going from Rhonda Bates to Artie
Here-
Johnson. That's what it was like. Seriously. Really? You see that?
Why did I do that then? I thought you got me into
No,
that.
I had nothing to do with it. Nothing.
It had to be something promotional. Did they pay you?
No. And she only left me in for like a half an inning because she
You
said,
wonder why I used
you're
to
not
drive up.
put-
You used to wonder why I drive up and do that TV show for free, and you went and put a costume on for free.
Well, she took me off.
Didn't we have a KCJJ night at the ballpark?
That's probably what it
Is
was.
what
Is that
it
it?
was, yes.
So did you guys have to pay to do that?
No. That was part of the agreement that we had.
Oh, okay. So I could see.
Well, she took me out after. You're not doing this right. What am I supposed to do?
Didn't she give you any, were you supposed to do, jumping jacks and stuff?
I would wave to the kids. What am I supposed to do? I got a baseball on my head. I can't see. I'm looking up.
Were you there?
Yeah.
So you remember it? Did he do all right?
He looked apologetic. His body language was apologetic.
And see, the kids sensed that. They probably thought you were creepy.
I mean, when you see mascot, like the Herkies are generally pretty enthusiastic, right?
Yeah, they come up.
Steve was not enthusiastic.
I didn't like it at all.
No, you were apologetic.
And that sent out a creepy vibe, and the kids were probably spooked by you. And they're like, we got to get him out of that costume. He's ruining America's
I
pastime.
couldn't see. Yeah, he's ruining America's.
Just like the Cubs are.
Yeah.
They've played 2 games, right?
But that's the Cubs' luck, to start off with
let's
the
go
world champions.
Hey, let's go to Japan and play the world champions
Yeah.
and lose.
And that is the Cubs' luck, man.
But it's only 2 games. But yeah, no, I enjoyed watching that game last night. I
did too,
and I'm watching this more as a Drake grad than just the moment he loses with the story unfold.
I was pulling for him.
I mean, I want him to go as long as. The thing is, though, a couple of buddies of mine, Drake grads, remind me, the more he wins in this thing, the more attractive he's going to get to other teams.
Oh no,
with better NIL deals. I mean,
I'm afraid what's going to happen.
I mean, Texas is open. I know they're not going to hire. I don't think they're going to. But there's jobs that just are open now.
No,
I mean, you got West Virginia, Texas, and there's going to be some others, I believe. And he is the attention guy right now.
No, it's. I'll be very surprised and pleased if we get him.
Here's the picture. Dirk sent a picture of the bird, the hawk from St. Joseph.
Okay.
So,
the St. Joseph Hawks.
So
I guess I'm the only fan who doesn't remember that.
I don't remember. No, I don't remember it either. And
but you're a writer.
I don't. So
remember. You may not have noticed.
I didn't notice.
You were probably watching the players.
When I think of St. Joe's, I think of Phil Martelli. He used to coach there. He was their coach. But the bird flapping. I never.
No, I don't.
I don't remember. When did Iowa play St. Joe's?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a blank. I think we need to move on.
But it was.
I'm surprised.
But it was the Hawks versus the Hawks.
All these people know it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, you thought I was going to spend my whole afternoon.
No, you're
and you didn't have to.
Your support system came through.
Yeah.
Ran into GT today, one of our fine sponsors, and Marion and George are going to Norman.
Are they?
They're probably driving right now. Yep. Marion
told me when her sister got married, there was a Hawkeye game going, and George wouldn't go to the marriage.
Wouldn't go to the wedding?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I support that.
I do too. Yeah, he's a fan.
So it's their fault for scheduling the marriage on a day when the Hawks are playing.
Yes. And when Anthony got married, the same damn thing happened.
Well, at least he had the good grace to get married on an away game.
Okay, but still,
I'll give him that.
But still. It was
was the game. It was a game when we had an incredible goal line stand, I think Syracuse.
I remember it well. It was loud in there.
I remember his toast. Here's to Harty, who's a pussy.
Here's to the St. Joseph Hawk.
I do remember that Syracuse stand. It was loud in there, and that was back when I was still at the Press Citizen, and that was before the mortgage crash, 2006.
Yes.
And I say that because we were still a somewhat functioning newspaper that traveled and actually sort of existed. But then once the mortgage thing, that's when furloughs started, and the next 6 to 7 years were tough. And now look where we are. But no, I do remember that goal line stand. That was not a great Iowa team. That team
it wasn't,
and that was not a great Syracuse team either.
But it was a memorable moment.
It was a memorable moment, and wasn't Jason Manson the quarterback for that game because Drew Tate was hurt. And he didn't play very well. I mean, he played okay, and he led them to a win. But yeah, that was one of those special moments that you're always going to remember.
And wasn't that maybe the week after we had just lost to Iowa State in Ames?
Possibly, because it was obviously one of the first three games.
And that Jason Manson was the QB. The second half against Iowa State.
He may have been, yeah. I mean, yeah, because then the year prior to that was 2005 when they lost over at Ames. Remember when Tate got hurt? In that game, I think they lost 23-3. It was just a disaster. That was back. I mean, there was a long stretch where Iowa had a lot of trouble beating Iowa State. I mean, but yeah, I do remember that stand, and it was a neat moment. I just remember how loud it was, and I don't know. I'm not crazy about. The Carrier Dome did not work for me for football. I didn't like it. It just didn't.
Wasn't much of a good crowd.
Were you there?
No,
no. There was a decent.
Was there?
It was. But it wasn't like one of those basketball crowds. But I don't know. It just didn't work for me. I mean, but I go to like Lucas Oil. I think that's a neat stadium. I mean, you've been to that. It looks like it holds more than it actually does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks.
I've always blown away by
huge.
It looks huge, but then the attendance, it's not huge. But I like the way it's built and what have you. But yeah, that was quite the stand, and it was funny. Somehow something popped up on my Twitter feed today, and it was and it was great video by some guy who had like 800 followers on Twitter. And it says he's a video guy. Maybe he's just getting started, but it was the last 30 seconds of the Iowa-Michigan football game from '85. Brent Musburger and that, and it was everything, and I watched the whole thing, and then it's interesting the discussion underneath it is they weren't arguing. They were like, yes, that play won the game, but the biggest play in the game was Larry Station stopping Jamie Morris for the 2-yard loss, and it was interesting watching them go back and forth, and now knowing Jamie the way I know him, and we've had Jamie on here before talking about that, was that set up everything. That set the stage, but you still have to make the field goal.
It did.
You weren't in the stadium that day.
I was not. We were on the road.
Yeah,
we were in Nisswa, Minnesota at the Channel Inn.
I remember watching it at home with Mom and Dad because that was my only semester when I was at Drake that I lived at home. Fall semester my senior year because I needed to go home just to take a deep breath, because I had lived I had 3 years of, I don't know how you want to call it, but fun living.
Sure.
But I only lasted one semester at home, and then I ended up moving into a little house right off the Drake campus that was so small. The steps, if you were a somewhat large person, you had to go up sideways because it was so narrow. But I do remember watching the game, and it was interesting reliving that and seeing the celebration, and it was the CBS. It's just interesting how certain people can get those videos and just post them. I don't know if they have the rights to do.
YouTube. You go on YouTube, type in game-winning field goal.
It's all. So and you can just take it and just.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just open game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they disseminate.
It's the Wild West. It's like the portal.
Well, they don't care.
It's like the portal.
They disseminate it. Or else they would stop YouTube from doing it.
And I'm guessing in the time we're on, the Tajo and Traore will probably. It seems like they always enter the other day. I'm sitting around. All right, I got some errands to run. 10 minutes in, Cooper Koch in the portal. It's my timing. Anytime I do something besides sit around and wait for this stuff to happen, something happens. So while I'm here.
So it was Lodgy yesterday, right?
It was Lodgy yesterday. He's 7, and the only ones left on scholarship. I mean, Kingsbury doesn't count. He was on scholarship for this year, but Tajo and Traore are the only ones. They're the only ones left, and they still have time. And it's not the news is not guys entering. The news would be if all of a sudden like Chris Tajo came out and said, "Hey, no matter what, I'm a Hawkeye. I'm staying." That would be news. Mm-hmm. The other stuff is just formality at this stage. These guys entering the portal, and a lot of them are saying, "Hey, I'm leaving open the option of returning." Some of them will have a lot of suitors. Josh Dix is going to have. Right now, he's number 1 in the portal on 3. He's the number 1.
A rich guy.
Oh, he's going to be a rich guy, and it's. I mean, if the right coach, if Ben McCollum got hired here and went and laid it out to Josh Dix, I bet you Dix would love everything except what McCollum says. Okay, and here's what we can pay you. And then does it say, okay, do I want to go to Iowa for $300, $350, or geez, Creighton's offering me $1 million, so and so's offering me $1 million. I mean, that's every discussion we have about this comes down to the same factors.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I do think that's going to impact who they get. And let's face it, Darian DeVries had more bargaining power than Ben McCollum. But that may not be the case if McCollum keeps winning. Stuff can change day to day.
Of course, it looks like DeVries and Indiana were sniffing around each other in February.
Well, that looks obvious, and it's weird how Darian doesn't seem to be even trying to hide it. Almost seems to be flaunting it, which I thought is a little weird.
I did too.
Now the West Virginia people just hate him, traitor, and Iowa people have moved on. I mean, it's just now it's McCollum.
Yeah, it's McCollum.
It's McCollum.
Well, you will see the biggest meltdown of a fan base in history if we don't get McCollum.
Yeah,
it's going to be an epic proportion.
And it still doesn't mean they may not get somebody who might end up being better than them.
Of course.
That's what's so wild about this.
Of course.
And I will say, us in the media, we do cause a lot of it. We really do. McCollum, like I said, he's a cross right now between John Wooden, Fog Allen, and Jesus.
Yeah, I was going to say
Jesus.
James Naismith.
James Naismith, and, but Jesus. Because I think a lot of it, he is the savior of Iowa basketball because look what he's doing at Drake. That's the mindset right now. And I hope selfishly, I hope it comes true.
I do too.
But it's just everything is taken to the extreme now with these searches because you have so many people that want attention and they want it to be about them and they got to keep you interested and energized and motivated. And it's just, sometimes just let it play out. But you can't.
No, they don't.
You can't. A day without branding is a day without branding and pandering and just the way it is. But no, I just think it's funny how DeVries, he's gone. We never really wanted him. Jeez, DeVries. What's he ever done? Look, West Virginia couldn't get in the tournament. McCollum, baby, 31-3.
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, I read this morning that Ren Baker used to be the AD for McCollum in Missouri.
Southwest Missouri,
Northwest
right?
Missouri.
Or Northwest Missouri
State.
Yes,
he
but
was the AD.
But he didn't hire him.
He didn't hire him because he had no D1 experience. That's why he didn't hire him when he hired DeVries.
Which, I guess, you always have hindsight, but, I mean, I can see that. I could have seen a year from a time not so long ago hiring Darren DeVries over Ben McCollum.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think.
And they said that's why now they think he has moved up to one of the front runners of that job at West Virginia.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. No, that would not surprise me. I think Texas is going to want somebody more big and grandiose.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think they need to land a bigger ship, so to speak, bigger fish.
Everything's bigger in Texas, boys.
Yeah.
But, West Virginia. I mean, West Virginia, that'll be interesting to see. But, do you go for a Drake coach back-to-back? That will be interesting.
Well, there'd be some trepidation there, wouldn't there?
Yeah.
I just thought it was an interesting article I read this morning when they mentioned it. I didn't realize that till today.
But Ren Baker didn't hire him at Northwest Missouri either.
He was his AD there.
For 2 years, but he didn't hire him.
Didn't hire him, and McCollum was there for 15, wasn't he?
No, but at least they've had a work.
Oh, yeah, no, they know each other.
For sure.
But we don't know, does that help or hurt? You don't know. They may not. Maybe they don't like each other. Who knows? I'm just saying. But no, it is interesting. And like I say, if it comes down to, I think what gets inflated here is this, he wants his dream since he grew up in Storm Lake and was born in Iowa. His dream is he must have wanted to be the Iowa coach all his life. I think sometimes that gets a little inflated, and we put too much emphasis on that and don't look at the real things like, okay, Virginia.
The real thing is all the money.
Well, yeah, West Virginia, salaries are going to be similar. Iowa can pay what it's the NIL, though. If West Virginia's got one that's twice or even three times more, that's the roster building there. That's where you look at yourself and say, how can I take this? Because if I don't have the money to build, I'm going to be fired in 3 or 4 years.
Building is job security.
Yes.
But do you think that Ben McCollum might look at it, hey, I've got a team that's 31-3. We're playing to get to the Sweet 16, and I did it with Division II athletes. I don't need $800 million. I can just get good ball players.
He might look at it that way, but I don't think fans look at it that way.
That's why he's satisfied to come here, because he's doing it now with no money. He was doing it at Missouri with no money.
Well, and that's what I hope that he looks at it that way and saying, I can do it.
But you're also looking at that as a Hawkeye fan.
Of course.
See, I'm trying to look at that objectively, and that way of thinking to me makes no sense. But
no.
And as good as this,
and go, that's a big salary, and I'd rather have the big salary and a bigger paycheck for other kids.
And as good as this,
my team.
And as good as this Drake team is, this Drake team would not be 30-3 if it was in the Big Ten. It would have been it would have been 500, maybe a little better at best. So it's hard.
And you look at it, all 3 of their losses were in the Missouri Valley.
Yes, they were.
And you average 70 points a game.
Well, they beat Vanderbilt. They've got.
That's
they did beat Vanderbilt. They've got some good wins. Vanderbilt was one of those 14 SEC teams that and Drake beat them. I'll give them that.
Right. They beat 3 SEC teams.
I'm just saying that theory, though, hiring Ben McCollum because he's willing to go at it with less, to me, that's not a winning formula. And I'm not saying that's what I was doing. That's the scenario you presented. But I think that is partly what I was doing because they don't have any. They don't have, unless they've received a boost here within like the last 3 or 4 days. We're still looking at the 1.5. It's going to possibly go up to 2.5 once this settlement comes to a head next month and then goes into effect on July 1st. If you figure, because that's going to be about $20.5 million. 75% goes to football. That's 14 to 15. And then women's basketball to me right now deserves almost as much as men. But a lot of people would say that's suicide to do that. But then wrestling's going to want some too. And now, of course, they've all got these outside collectives, but that's where Iowa falls woefully short the outside collectives. Yes. So these other teams are still going to have an advantage over Iowa, even with the settlement, if that makes sense.
Yep. Well, anyway, good show, guys.
Thanks.
Take care.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just it'll be weird if West Virginia hires Drake coaches back to back, and then what if McCollum goes in a year later? He's at replacing Izzo retires at Michigan State and goes to Michigan State. I mean, but there's other coaches.
Stranger things happen.
There's other just for this mentality out there, there's other coaches besides Ben McCollum if it doesn't turn out to be him.
Well,
I just think so many people are just, it's got to be him or this is just.
Well, see, the thing about that is half of those people never heard of Ben McCollum before this year.
They hadn't, and a lot of them were like, McCollum would be a fallback, but, it's got to be DeVries. Now,
exactly.
A lot of those people, I've moved on from that train. It's always been McCollum. DeVries was who you wanted. It didn't work out. You move on. Now, if it doesn't work out with McCollum, you move on. You just can't just think that the next guy's going to be the savior. There's reason to be optimistic, but God, some of this stuff, it's just.
It wears you down.
And the Iowa ties. He was born in Iowa City.
Can I ask you, this is off of it a little bit, but Channel 9 is carrying Missouri Valley sports. Does anybody care here?
Well, as a Drake, I'd watch Drake stuff, but nothing else.
But that's it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I wouldn't. Maybe in Northern Iowa. Is Northern Iowa in the Missouri Valley?
Are they anymore?
I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I'd watch anything with maybe a little, but not. If it was Drake, I would watch basketball. I don't know if I'd watch like Drake softball or Drake soccer. I don't know if I don't know.
They've got it on 9. They've got it on 9.2, and I just wondered.
And Sable's retiring.
Yeah.
I knew he told me a while back he was going to retire at this stage.
This is his last day.
Yeah, and he told Halas wrote a story, but he's going to bike from like California to Florida.
He's a good guy.
He is a good guy. He's completely different off the air. He's kind of like you.
Yeah.
He really is. And when he's on the air, he's just, he's a completely different personality than off the air.
Yeah. You're saying I'm...
No, Suter, would you agree with me? He's a little different off the air than he is on the air?
I would agree with that.
Very different. I'm trying to figure out who you are. I'm thinking of two guys off and on to describe, but also kind of make fun of me a little bit, and I'll come up with it before we're done with it. You go like Liberace on the air, Michael J. Pollard off the air. Does that make you?
Yeah, Michael J. Pollard. Liberace.
Sure. There you go.
there I'm Liberace. Jesus.
But no, that game was fun, and now Texas Tech is good.
Texas Tech is good.
They've got better athletes but so does Missouri.
Yeah.
Missouri was more athletic than Drake.
Very much so.
And but see, that's the thing too. I think a lot of people I've talked to are they're programmed themselves. Yep, we're going to maybe not, if we're going to get McCollum, and it's going to work because we're going to play so hard on defense, be so connected. We won't be as athletic as the other team, but we're just going to be good. You know where this is eerily similar to Licklider. And I don't mean that to be, like I said, but I remember that was the rationale with Licklider, and Licklider was the hot guy.
Yes, he was.
He was like McCollum, and none of
people were celebrating.
He was the coach of the year. Butler was, Butler was the hot team. They were the little engine that could.
Well, Licklider didn't have 4 national championships at D2 though.
No, but that's D2.
That's
D2, and that's what a skeptic. Okay, that's D2. Frank Lauterbur, that's a completely different level. So, but yeah, it's interesting.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey, I had a couple coaches that I thought might be a good backup plan with some Iowa ties.
Why does it have to have Iowa ties?
No, they don't, but it's just coincidence.
Now, hey, can I ask you one other? And I'm going to ask you, and why necessarily a backup plan? We don't know that right now Ben McCollum is plan A without daring. We don't know that. We're just assuming that because that's what we're all saying and that's what we're all writing. Beth Getz has not said anything about this. That's just but yeah, go ahead. Let's hear it. I'm curious.
Yeah. I got some names. It'll move some traffic. It'll be something to ponder on. Nick Nurse. You familiar with him?
Yeah, isn't he an NBA coach is he coaching the Sixers now?
Yeah, he'll probably get fired. But
yeah,
he
I'm
just
sure.
won a title with Toronto.
Yeah, no, he did. I mean, yeah, he's been good in the NBA. Okay, he's of course.
Both of these coaches, I think, would put some butts in seats and move some traffic.
I don't know.
My other one would be Lisa.
Be who? Lisa
Bluter.
Lisa Bluter?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would definitely put fans in the seats for just because of the. Yeah, I don't see that. I mean, I don't see that
That's
happening.
An interesting thought, but I don't think so.
I don't see that happening, and I mean, maybe 10 years ago, but I mean,
I don't think she's interested.
I don't at
all. You could start the rumor and have something else to talk about.
I just wonder how recruiting would go. Do you think she?
I don't think it would go well at all.
No.
But no, hey, it's an interesting thought.
It is an interesting
thought.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys. Enjoy the show.
Yep. No, that
is an interesting.
That's not who I thought he was going to mention. I thought he was going to mention someone like Ryan Bowen or Matt Gatens or Jeff Horner,
Steve Forbes,
Jans, Loris College. The next coach doesn't have to be somebody with Iowa ties.
No,
I mean it doesn't have to be the case. I mean, not everybody wants to come home.
No, and
well,
not
Thomas Wolfe says you can't go home
and
again.
not everybody wants to live here.
No.
Simple as that.
Yeah. Well, how many wives of coaches have not wanted to live here that have altered Hawkeye athletics? Let's mention Howard Jones' wife. She was bitching back in the 20s, wasn't she? Bitching in the 20s about
Bobby Olson.
Bobby Olson got loot. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
You build Carver with no middle mezzanine, then you escape to the desert and leave us to climb all those stairs.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Suter?
There you go.
Yeah,
there's two right there. Weren't there?
Well, George Raveling didn't have a wife, but he didn't like the fishbowl.
No, and then he regretted leaving later.
Yeah,
I remember he lived right off of Holiday Road, right over the bridge. I'm trying to think. I thought there was another one. Shirley with Hayden was never. I don't remember her ever really complaining. And but no, the main ones were Howard Jones's wife, and because he went to Duke for a year, but then he went to USC and basically built USC into the power that they. And I think that's something a lot of people maybe don't realize that was Howard Jones, and then he died of a heart attack washing his car at like the age of 41. Howard Jones.
Yeah, before he sang.
Well, he had already cut.
No one is to blame. Yeah, he had recorded it back with Edison.
Yeah, and then they stored it for 40 years and then released him in the 80s.
Great song.
Yeah, it does remind me of the 80s.
Yeah.
That's a very 80s song, but I liked it.
You guys, I turned you guys on. Yeah, you had a little Boz Skaggs going.
Yeah.
So how does he fit in? Because it was top 40, even though it's the 70s, or is it just one of your rules?
It was top 40, and it went into the 80s.
Okay, I love how you twist these rules like pretzels. You really do. It basically comes down to it's on because you say it's on.
Listen, Tommy puts it in. I don't.
Yeah, but if you didn't want it, hey, yank that crap.
What's this doing here?
Actually, and Tom remembers this, Clear Channel thought they owned us.
Nobody owns you, right? That's been your motto all your life, right?
Yeah.
Nobody owns me.
No, I'm the Liberace of morning
the
radio.
Liberace of morning radio.
But anyway, so they sent us these songs, and at the time, they sent us their hard drives and everything. It was on there, and that's how they explained it.
Okay.
Well, it was very popular in the 80s.
All right. I will say, interesting, my buddy of mine, I reconnected with a buddy of mine, hadn't spoken to him for almost 40 years. He did his bracket AI. Have you ever?
Really?
Yeah. And he sent me how he did it, and it's going to be interesting to see how good it is.
So did the AI make all the picks then?
I guess.
Yeah.
I told him that I wasn't very good at it because I'm not. I'm just, and he's like, all right, well, and so it was obvious he didn't want to do it. It was part of an office pool, and he just didn't want to take the time because he's not really. And so he just had AI do it. I didn't realize that's where we are.
I mean, there aren't very many people who are good at predicting a tournament.
First
like
of all,
this,
they're finding
But
out.
as a sports writer, I'm pretty bad at it. I mean, I've known some sports writers. I've got a unique skill of doing, but I haven't done brackets for years. They beat me down to where I'm like, why do I want to keep just insulting myself? So I quit doing them back in the 90s.
The AI, though, they're finding out, almost 40% of crap that they do on research
is wrong.
I mean, it's, there's an AI radio station that's using AI disc jockeys. And what it does is it takes crap off of Twitter and the other social media, and it reports it as fact.
Yeah, see that.
And I mean, it's when it is, and it's in Utah, and people have been screwing with it, and it's just, I mean,
I just thought that was interesting that you can do that. So, but should we take a break?
Yeah,
and then come back.
We can.
All right.
Yeah, I've got to change my clothes.
Yeah, and get that bird costume on.
1-800-800-ROSE. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country. 1-800-800-ROSE. It's so easy. Just remember one number. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist. 1-800-800-ROSE. Remember,
for a gift that your loved one will treasure for a lifetime, find it at our family-owned jewelry store in Iowa City, Harty and Stocker Jewelers.
We can show you diamond engagement rings, colored stones, fashion jewelry, and watches.
Our jewelers are on site, so we can design jewelry for that special person in your life.
We are Harty and Stocker, serving Iowa City and the surrounding area for 3 generations.
Harty and Stocker Jewelers, downtown Iowa City, and HartyandStockerJewelers.com. Ask for Willa, Terry, Tim, or Kate. One of us is always there.
Don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's e-keys for cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's e-keys for cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's e-keys for cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 today.
It's Truck Month, and Deary Ford is here for you.
With a huge selection of Mavericks, Rangers, F-150s, and Super Duties.
Here for you. With many years of experience, serving Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, and the corridor.
Here for you with complimentary pickup and delivery and mobile service.
If you are looking for a quick, enjoyable purchase experience with our best price up front, visit us today and see how Deary Ford is here for you. It's Truck Month at Deary Ford in Iowa City or online at DearyFord.com.
Hi, this is Tiffany at Senior Benefits. Are you confused with Medicare questions, anything having to do with Medicare? I take care of all Medicare customers, people under 65. I also do life insurance, long-term care, cancer insurance. I'm here to help you navigate any questions that you may be having or frustrations and anxiety that you may have with Medicare or insurance in general. Give me, Tiffany Rao, a call at 319-631-4795.
GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit suples.net or call them today at 319-337-2246. When you go to a family restaurant, you want 3 things. 1, a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. 2, you want those selections to be affordable and delicious. And 3, you want to be treated like family. You get all 3 at the Midtown Family Restaurant. Breakfast items available anytime the doors are open. Legendary tenderloins, onion rings, and hot roast beef sandwiches, and special ribeye and shrimp nights. Daily specials at each location, and no matter if you're coming in solo or with a group of 20, you get the same special family treatment. The Midtown Family Restaurants at Court and Scott Streets and at the Walmart Plaza on Highway 1 West. Follow them on Facebook or at midtownfamily.com. The family's waiting for you.
Diamond Dream Sports Academy, 20,000 square foot indoor facility, holds 8 batting cages, space for infield work, space for throwing and pitching and all your arm care needs. Offers private instruction, group lessons, camps and clinics, leagues, memberships. Rentals available at Diamond Dreams is open to the public.
Our top level instructors include former professional, college, and Olympic athletes. Our coaches will help these athletes achieve their full athletic potential, develop a strong work ethic, and a solid base to build. The last thing you want to do is look back and wish you had worked or played harder.
Locally owned and established in 2005, Diamond Dreams is Eastern Iowa's premier training facility. Located at 2905 Stoner Court, North Liberty, Call today and reserve your time. 319-665-2173. 319-665-2173.
This is Leah Pasha, and I've been saying, hit a deer, call Premier, for years. But it's time for something new. It's still where you need to go for deer divots and door dings, as well as damaged dashboards. That's what my dad Nathan's driving at and dreams about. Why not say, when your car is dinged, be a deer and call Premier? I think Dad's going to love that. Premier Automotive, North Liberty's premier auto body repair shop.
Be a deer and call Premier Auto Body in North Liberty.
Don't let just anyone take care of your smile. At Diamond Dental, you can expect compassion, expertise, and a personalized care plan to protect your teeth for life. With more than 30 years of combined experience, Dr. Forbes and his staff are prepared to tackle even your toughest dental problems, leaving your smile healthy and sparkling. Diamond Dental offers a full range of general and cosmetic dentistry, as well as dental treatment options for snoring and sleep apnea. It's never too early to start thinking about what's best for your smile. Schedule an appointment today by calling 319-390-3703 or visiting the office at 5815 Consul Street Northeast, Suite D1 in Cedar Rapids. You can also visit DiamondDentalPC.com for more information. Dr. Forbes is a proud sponsor of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and the Inner Circle. Let the Diamond Dental team provide superior care for your entire family.
Dear U of I, just a note to let you know, if you're ever thinking about selling Kinnick Stadium or Carver Hawkeye Arena, please consider Hawkeye Title and Settlement. We're here to provide efficient, high-quality real estate title and closing services. Signed, Hawkeye Fan Forever, and send. Hi, this is Steve Anderson with Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Whether it's a large commercial property or if you're buying your first home, remember, we're here to help. Hawkeye Title and Settlement Services of Iowa City. You'll love our team just like you love the Hawks.
Are you tired of living in a home that doesn't quite meet your needs? Then it's time to call the experts at Streets Maintenance. Their team of skilled professionals specializes in renovations and remodeling, transforming your home into the space you've always dreamed of. From kitchen bath remodels to complete home renovations, no job is too big or too small. Streets Maintenance will work with you every step of the way to ensure your vision becomes a reality. So don't wait any longer. Call Streets Maintenance to schedule your consultation at 400-4483. Let's start building your dream home today.
You take great care to maintain your home or business inside and out. But maybe, just maybe, there's something missing. Something that makes your home stand out among the others in your neighborhood. Something that makes your business pop and increases traffic. Something that you can change and customize at your command. Well, there's a solution, and that's Illuminlight's permanent outdoor lighting from Big Dog Tech. Illuminlights provides illumination for every occasion. Holiday lighting, accent lights, security, and of course lighting for all your favorite sports. The Illuminlights app lets you create your own patterns with color, motion, brightness, and static control over every individual light, or use Big Dog's presets to transform your home or business. The professionally installed track system makes Illuminlight's LEDs virtually disappear until you turn them on. Rated at 50,000 hours, you'll enjoy stress-free convenience for years to come. For more information about Illuminlight's permanent outdoor lighting, go to BigDogTEK.net or give them a call at 319-395-0800. That's 319-395-0800.
Hi, this is Bill Leixenring from the Oxyoke Inn. The Oxyoke Inn is now serving daily. Our Oxyoke family is ready to serve you with the same quality of food and service you've come to trust since 1940. Now serving lunch, dinner, banquets, and carry-out daily with 4 portion sizes. Sundays featuring our famous brunch buffet. You can also order curbside carry-out and pies to go online and take the comforting taste of the Oxyoke home to your family's table. Visit oxyokeinn.com for hours, menus, reservations, carry-out, specials, and gift cards. From our Oxyoke family to yours, we can't wait to see you again soon. Oxyoke Inn, in the heart of Amana.
The Oxyoke Inn.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back. Just got my new remote control for in here.
Oh, is that what that was? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Does it work?
Yes.
Great.
There was some commotion in there for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was worried about you. Batteries dropping on the floor,
Yeah,
but your knee held out, and you're doing all right.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you expect? I just dropped to the floor.
Well, it's one day at a time.
So are we to the point where you'll say, boy, I'm sure glad I got that knee thing done?
Yeah, okay. It'll be.
It's been almost 2 months.
It's going to be another. They said you won't even notice anything by June or July.
So do you have your other knees just completely fine?
Yeah.
You've never had any problem?
Yeah.
Why? Is it just
arthritis? I've got
it's just
chronic
it can go anywhere.
Arthritis.
It could have easily gone to your other. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I see. But yeah, no, you're moving around much better than you were just when I saw you on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday you were still using a walker.
It's getting I can use I use the walker. Without the walker, I get a little tired, and I've got to be at the top of my game here.
I know you do. We all do. I mean, that's when you walk through those doors. You take a deep
And
breath.
we all fall so far short.
You take a deep breath and
each
just
time.
You basically take. I know Hunter said this. You take a deep breath and just say, "I got to give my best." Isn't that what you do, Hunter? Every day.
Every single day.
Every single day.
Yeah.
For hours on end.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
The remote. I'm making sure I don't throw out the wrong remote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I must say, a couple of weeks ago, I think I said, well, if Iowa's not in the tournament, which we knew they weren't going to be, I said I probably won't watch any basketball, and I watched a lot yesterday.
Oh, I did too. I mean, and then I watched the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament are probably my two favorite days. And then there's also bad games that happened. There were some games that weren't very competitive, and there were some upsets, of course. I mean,
4 teams beat their seeds.
Yeah, and wasn't there another 5-12? There was a
McNeese.
Yeah,
beat
McNeese
Clemson.
State. Boy, they almost lost it. I mean, it was they were winning by like 15, and then Clemson came all the way back. But it still never felt like McNeese State was going to lose. But it was interesting. McNeese State never really worked the clock at all. They had a lot of turnovers when Clemson was pressing, but McNeese State just kept trying high-flying dunks.
Yes, they did.
It was almost like, we're not gonna milk the clock. We're gonna fight to the end, and it almost cost them.
Well, that was one point towards the end of the game last night. The Drake game, they did an alley-oop. They were up by 4, but they did an alley-oop and just a perfect play.
Yeah.
I said, geez.
Their execution was impeccable on both ends of the floor yesterday. These guys, like I said, they're very connected, and the pieces that he's added from outside, the Wyoming, have been perfect.
Yeah. But, I mean, 4-point game, huge game, and an alley-oop that could have gone awry, but it was perfect.
And when I don't want to give this impression like I'm bad-mouthing Ben McCollum by saying this is eerily similar to Todd Licklider at Butler right before getting, but it is. Licklider was really popular and was considered a great tactician and coach, and his team was known for how connected and disciplined and how well they worked together. It was more team than individual superstars, and just like it is with this Drake team. That's what I'm saying. I mean, we had no idea what Licklider was about really personally until he got here. I didn't know he was going to play his son. I mean,
well, we didn't know that Brad Stevens was probably
it was a big part of it, but we also didn't know that Licklider was going to come here and be kind of odd and disconnected. And
that was way odd.
And play his son.
And boy, he was disconnected.
And I don't think that's where I think whether Ben McCollum, if he does get the job, works or not, I don't think he will be odd in the way he looked. And I don't think Ben McCollum. Oh God, I always got the impression that Licklider never really left Butler. It just never really felt like he did.
I agree.
And he
with
just
that.
thought the Butler way was going to win there, and it just didn't. And he couldn't relate to the players. When you have players leaving like they were during his 3 years, there was obviously a breakdown in communication and respect. Leading scorers, Freeman, Jake Kelly, those guys were leaving the program, and it was just not a good fit. But prior to that, when Licklider got the job, I remember writing. I went back and looked. I wrote about how refreshing it was to have a coach who looks like it's all about everybody but him. Because when Alford got hired was Alford.
Yep.
Licklider was talking about everybody but him, and I thought that was cool. And obviously he knew how to coach because of what he did at Butler and what have you. But like I said, that's still, you just don't know until it happens. If Ben McCollum gets the job, we don't know if it's going to work.
No, of course not.
It may not work. The slowdown system may not work, but other people have said that they know him well enough and that he will adapt to what he has. He will adapt to his personnel. And So it will be interesting to see what he could do with very limited. I think it's fair to say that Iowa, even with the settlement and going up another million, let's say they go up between 2 and 3, that's still going to have them near the bottom of the Big Ten. When you add in the outside collectors, they're still going to be one of the worst NILs in the Big Ten as of now. I haven't seen anything dramatic to show that that's going to change anything significantly. The settlement won't change that much.
No, we'll see. Hopefully people will start kicking in, but Iowans seem to be resistant.
They do. And like I said, I'm not criticizing them. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting NIL fundraising to be as big a problem for Iowa.
Not at all.
Because I've always thought of Iowa fans as but you can still be a devoted fan, but or some people will argue now in this day and age, you cannot be a devoted fan if you're not contributing to the NIL. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I sort of agree with that. There are probably hundreds of thousands of Iowa fans who don't agree with that, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't doing it. So,
and some will say, well, okay, I sort of agree with you, and here's the money. I'm a football season ticket holder. I'm a women's basketball ticket holder. There's my money. I don't have enough for NIL. There's a lot of ways to justify both sides of it.
Sure.
So like I said, I'm not going to tell people how to spend their money, but you also, if you don't like the rosters and you bitch about them not being able to close deals with recruits, well, there's reasons.
Well, and those are the first people who are going to bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and a lot of the people that were DeVries are also the first people to say McCollum.
You bet.
They want to forget that they were wrong about that. Now they embrace the next savior, and that's But that's been the case with job searches all the time. Now it's just more noticeable because of social media. It never ends. In the old days of newspapers, you wrote an article every day about the coaching search, mentioning names. Now it's just never ending. It's just nonstop.
Well, unfortunately, everybody can weigh in, and people see it, and they think they're smarter than they are.
But no, I'm with you, though, on this Iowa ties thing. And everyone kept talking about Darian DeVries' Iowa tie. Well, he never has been a Hawkeye. I mean, his tie was the fact that his older brother played football here. I just thought that was so overinflated, and I didn't get it.
Obviously, it didn't.
He's coming home.
Well, it can work both ways. You can love Iowa, or you've lived here, and you go, I don't want to do that again.
But he was from Applington. That's about as different from Iowa City. I mean, it's
exactly.
And he went to Northern Iowa.
Yeah.
Then he was in Omaha.
But I mean, even if they have Iowa, maybe they lived here. And they're sick of it.
They don't want to do it again.
I lived in Florida for 9 months. Does that mean every once in a while, man, I got to get back down to that Tampa Bay area? No. First of all, I couldn't afford it.
Because you didn't like it.
I didn't like it, and that was living right on the ocean in a house I had no payment with. Now I'd have to pay to be miserable.
I had offers to stay in the Quad Cities and, grew up there and everything and didn't want to do it.
Now, I will say I liked Florida. I didn't like the weather, but I liked, being able to hang out with my buddy from college and live in his family's house for free. There was a lot I did like about it. I mean, but at some point, though, I had to get going on with life, and I decided I didn't want to try to get a newspaper job down there because I didn't want to live there. It was too humid. It just wasn't my thing.
Summer in Florida is brutal.
And I was in my 20s. I would have gone from living in this beautiful oceanside home to renting a 2-bedroom out in Ocala or something for and I would have had to have driven to see the ocean. It would not have been the same. Window air conditioner.
Oh God!
Heaven forbid.
Eating on paper plates. It would have been tough. Because I was living a life of luxury.
Well, how old were you?
24. 20,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, reckless.
You're supposed to be at that age.
Yes, but at some point, what happened was his dad finally said, "You two get out of there. You're either coming back and going to law school," to his son, or we had to go home. I mean, it wasn't our decision to end. It was made for us. But I was starting to get a little bored, I needed to do something. So. And then I came back, and now the rest is history.
All right, so back to the Hawks. Women kick it off for real today. Not the Hawkeyes, but the women's tournament. 6 Big Ten teams play today. Some interesting matchups too. Michigan, Iowa State, I think, is a very compelling matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Utah, Indiana, 8 and 9. Those are generally pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Vandy and Oregon, should be good. Ohio State, Montana State, meh. Louisville, Nebraska should be a good game.
That could be a good one.
Yeah. And UCLA, Southern, probably not.
Probably not. Then Iowa tomorrow at 11 versus 25-7 Murray State.
And they're pretty good.
Yeah, they score a lot of points. I think it's 87.8.
Yeah, number one scoring team.
Number one scoring team. 25 wins is a record. They won. Yeah, no, they've done a lot of winning, but I still think Iowa's defense. I mean, Iowa's a better defensive team this year than they were last year.
Yeah.
I mean, Iowa just, with Caitlin, of course, they just overwhelmed teams on offense. And they played just enough defense to win games by 8 to 15 points on most occasions. You know, and defense was not a priority with Caitlin, and it didn't have to be. Now, this year, defense has been the one constant, I believe.
That has made a difference.
That has made a difference. And so that's kind of what I'm writing about. And so, but yeah, we'll have some pregame stuff up on Hawk Fanatic later this afternoon. I know there's press conferences going on down there now. And yeah, tomorrow, 11 o'clock. I like 11 o'clock Saturday game.
I do too. After our show tomorrow, man, we got go have quick something to eat and watch some Hawks.
There you go.
And I'm looking forward to it.
No, I am too. It's ESPN.
ESPN.
And then the winner gets the winner of the Oklahoma. Who's Oklahoma playing?
Oklahoma is playing Florida Gulf Coast.
Okay. I assume Oklahoma's going to win, but
I would imagine.
I've had people tell me they've watched Oklahoma look really good this year at times and really bad this year at times. I mean, their record's pretty impressive. I mean, what are they?
Number 3 seed. I'm not sure.
Yeah, number 3 seed's very impressive, and they're at home. Of course, that's to me that's big. That's going to make it tough on Iowa, assuming they get there. But I like the fact that the NCAA put those two storylines together. The possibility of those two storylines happening. That's interesting. That's an interesting storyline. That'll have a lot of fans engaged.
And then if Iowa happens to beat Oklahoma, we'll probably play UConn, which is another interesting story from last year.
See, for some reason, UConn worries me. I watch UConn at times, and I think they look better than UCLA and USC.
Yeah, they're a real good team.
They are. But they're not invincible. This is not the invincible UConn teams, not even close. There is not, even South Carolina has 3 losses this year, and UConn beat them there by like 30 points. And South Carolina is not a number 1. Aren't they a 2 seed?
Well, they won.
Oh, no, they're 1, but they're not the overall number 1, is
no.
it? The overall number 1 is UCLA, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's what they were asking Don Staley if she was offended by that. I can't remember what she said, but, you know, I don't think these teams at this stage need much motivation.
You wouldn't think so. And Texas is a number 1, and USC is
Texas Min Job. It sounds like that's coming open. That's going to be an interesting situation because that, to me, has to be one of the better jobs in the nation.
You'd sure think
and
so.
It just, I mean, Shaka Smart wasn't. Rick Barnes was successful there, but Shaka Smart didn't win there.
No.
The coach now, what's his name? Reggie Terry.
I'm not sure.
He hasn't been that successful. Obviously, that's why his name. But if that job were to come open, if it hasn't already, that's going to attract a lot of.
I think that job is open.
Is it open now officially? Okay, I saw it on Twitter that it was going to open. It looked like, but that job competes with anything when you throw in all the stuff necessary to hire a coach. Can you imagine Ben McCollum going from Drake to Texas?
Boy, talk about culture shock.
Oh, my God. I mean, and going from the campus with about 3,500 to Texas, just massive. And being on that campus, it just goes on it's just huge. I mean, Texas, I mean, what's the tower there where the guy was shooting everyone? Wasn't named Charles Whitman?
Yes, it was.
I remember when I saw that when I was down there. I was down there.
Remember?
When I was down there, though,
Charles Whitman,
I remember going, you see that tower, and that's the first thing I thought of.
Dealey Plaza?
Yeah, I remember that. But
I don't remember Charles Whitman?
I didn't remember the name.
Well,
no.
That's how I roll.
Did I?
Texas Book and Depository Building.
There you go.
Yeah.
3rd floor, wasn't it?
I think.
Did you read any? I did not read any of the JFK files. Did you? That were weren't they released?
No, because everybody said there's nothing.
There's nothing in them because if there was anything,
the Kennedys didn't trust the CIA. Well,
there's a shock.
No, nobody trusts the CIA.
Yeah.
I mean, the FBI does. The FBI shows that I watch on TV.
They don't trust the CIA.
They don't trust the CIA, and a lot of times the plot is the CIA is screwing with.
And wasn't the real meat redacted because of security reasons? There's some stuff they couldn't show, right?
Yeah, but
I didn't even bother to look, which I found kind of interesting on the fact that I couldn't.
Cronkite when he retired, gave an interview, and he said, look, Oswald did it. He did it on his own. We spent millions of dollars, CBS, trying to find the conspiracy. He said we sent people into Cuba and everything. He said there was no conspiracy. And then Larry and Cronkite was kind of losing it, and he was with Dan Rather on Larry King.
I remember that.
And King asked him another question. And Cronkite goes, "What are you, goddamn fool?" And the rest of the interview was Rather talking over him because he was kind of losing it at the end.
How about the JFK movie by Oliver Stone? That thing was terrible. Did you watch that, Suter?
I did. It was terrible.
I did too. It sucked.
It was the.
When Oliver Stone's full of crap.
I did love Platoon. I will say Platoon.
Yeah, he makes up crap, and I don't know. I'm not.
No, Platoon's the only movie him
and Tarantino.
Midnight Express.
I have no time for.
Him who?
Tarantino.
Oh, Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. I just don't have. I don't get.
Well, I don't. I mean, not. I just base it on whether I like their movies. I don't. Them personally, I don't.
But I haven't seen one movie of his I liked.
I thought you liked that Hollywood. Okay, what other movies?
The only reason I liked that was
because
the
of
ending.
The dog.
Yeah, and
Brandy.
The ending.
I like the ending. Yeah, and the scene at the Spawn Ranch where he knocks the guy out. I thought that was forces him to fix his tire.
A lot of it was just dragged,
boring.
Yeah.
Well, the scene there where he's talking to Bruce Dern in the bed, that took way too long.
The movie was too long.
It was just too long.
It was too long, but the end
was great.
Was satisfying.
The end was tremendously satisfying.
Yeah.
That's the sound he made, and then Brandy went to work. And that was a big old looking pit bull. I mean, it was a big one. But what other movies is Tarantino? What other movies?
Pulp Fiction?
Wasn't that him? Never worked for me.
No.
I thought Pulp Fiction was just weird.
I watched like 10 minutes. And this is stupid.
It was weird and it was grotesque.
It didn't work for me.
Yeah, it just.
What else has he done?
Yeah, what else has he done?
Some other boring movies.
Okay, we'll just leave it at that. What's that? Oh, Kill Bill stuff. I
never even watched it.
I never watched it.
No interest.
Yeah.
Coen Brothers. I mean,
the Coen Brothers.
Interest.
Fargo.
Yeah.
Fargo's great.
Fargo was great.
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
I haven't seen that.
I watched that movie first with
great.
Clooney. I watched it at first, and I did not like it.
I didn't either.
And then I saw it.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
How about No Country for Old Men?
I saw it.
We're not there yet.
Old men love country. But I watched that the second time, and I go, that's interesting. It's kind of I kind of like it.
That's great. Yeah. I loved it the second time.
Then I got it. Shane got it because I must have said I liked it. Shane got it as a DVD, and I put it in again.
What's it called?
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
And it's very different.
It's based on Homer's Odyssey.
Okay.
And Clooney's great. And who's
loosely
the gal that played?
I can't remember.
But I thought Fargo was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bleak.
Fargo's great.
It was bleak.
Yeah, but
and the TV Fargos are great. Those have been really good.
Hello.
So, with the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Allison Krauss is going to be in Cedar Rapids this summer.
Yeah, Ann and I have tickets.
That's going to be a good show.
I hope so.
So I haven't been able to listen to a lot this morning, unfortunately, but I did have a question. Do you think the reason that we haven't announced a coach is because he's still coaching in the NCAAs?
Oh, there's a possibility.
I would imagine.
Yeah, there's a good chance of that.
Does that kind of lead us that perhaps it could be McCollum?
I mean, there's always that possibility, yes. I mean, yeah.
Have you heard anything at all, Pat?
I hear it every day, every 5 minutes. I mean, it's everywhere. But I hear it from everybody that doesn't matter. The people that really matter aren't saying anything.
I was going to say, because you have sources that do matter that
yeah, but I don't have
you could trust.
The source in this is Beth Getz, and she's not saying. I mean, Tom, you're on the message boards.
Yeah.
They're not saying anything.
Well, I hope, after watching him last night, I really hope we get him. I think he'd be a heck of a coach.
Well, who knows?
Yeah, he very well could be. I hope if that's who they hire, I hope you're right. I hope he does turn out to be a heck of a coach, because if not, they're in trouble.
So do we think the women should win tomorrow, shouldn't they?
Well, they are favored by 12,
Well, the
I
reason
think.
I'm asking is I'm leaving for Phoenix on Sunday, and that trip takes me right through Norman, Oklahoma. So I would be there on Monday. If the women win, I could go catch the game on Monday.
Perfect.
So,
I think there's a good chance the women win.
Yeah, absolutely.
well, if I do get there and I do that, I'll send you guys some pictures.
Do.
All right.
Yeah, we'll
Safe
look
travels.
for 'em.
Anyway, well, you guys have a great weekend. As always, thanks for taking my call, and go Hawks.
All right, man.
But yeah, as far as the Ben McCollum, I mean, it's obviously that's who everybody seems to be. These things kind of take a life of their own. But like I said, I haven't heard anything from Ben McCollum. Haven't heard anything from Beth Getz. I haven't spoken to anybody high up at Iowa that's saying anything for sure on the record. And I doubt anyone else has. And what's going to eventually happen, the agent of whoever is the next head coach is going to reach out to one of these national media guys that have instant.
Yeah.
And that's how it's more than likely going to break, because that's how almost all of these
And
things.
then two local guys will put it on Twitter.
I had, yes.
Yeah, I had it first.
Yeah, and then it'll become a bitch fest about who actually had it first and who knew before the national guy and all that same crap that goes on. And then eventually we'll know who the coach is, and 5 minutes later nobody will care who actually had it first. But it's the agents that are pushing these stories.
Yep.
They want them out there. That's what's happening.
Hello.
Hey, didn't Tarantino do Reservoir Dogs too?
I have not seen that. I've been told it's good.
I haven't seen it. Yes.
I've been told it's good. Hunter says it's
good, but it it only takes place in two sets. One is a restaurant, and the other one's like this garage that used to be a embalming place or whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
It's kind of like Tarantino weirdness, but it's better than some of his stuff. You got to watch it a couple times to appreciate it, I guess.
I've been told it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And Hunter just said it's a good movie, so maybe I'll give it a watch sometime.
I'll never
Have
watch
a good
it.
one, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Never will
But as
I
far
watch
as
it.
scenes go, I mean, I remember, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Wasn't that pretty much filmed in their house? Almost all of it, other than when they went for ice cream?
Yeah.
That was about
Can
it.
you imagine if Tarantino would have done it?
With Spencer Tracy? Think they would have worked well together?
Would have had a ball gag in his mouth.
And they have a pet pit bull that just growls at anyone who comes over.
Go get the black man.
It just growls at the black people.
Yeah. What the?
I'm not sure there'd be no DEI in that movie.
Jesus.
I'm joking, of course.
Yeah.
But, yeah, McCollum, it's just interesting how in these searches there always has to be somebody who it looks like is going to get the job, because that kind of pushes the news narrative for the day and what have you. And right now everyone's convinced that it's Ben McCollum who's number one on best list, even though I haven't seen anything to substantiate anything close to that. Have you?
I have, and I don't know. I mean, they're message boards, but
Yes, yeah.
some people that I usually trust have said that Ben McCollum was always Beth's first choice. Do I know that for a fact?
Were they
No, I
saying
don't.
that during the DeVries Love Fest?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that. I've had people, that narrative's out there, and there's going to be some people in the media that I think will try to push that once, if it is Ben McCollum. We'll see it. That just seems like such a convenient answer to just, if that was the case, then I wonder why he was more of an emphasis than Darian DeVries. Is because did they think, well, we can't get Darian, we think he's better than Darian? I see,
don't know.
and like I said, I'm not knocking your message board guys, but that seems like a convenient way of trying to be right in a situation when you're not confident they're going to get someone. Because
I can't say.
Because, I mean, 10 days ago, Tom, it was all Darian DeVries. He was on top of everybody, the message.
I know.
Everybody. Now it's like, well, I don't know if he was. I don't know. I just find it interesting how the narratives change. Because for some people, Iowa can never be seen as looking weak or like they're not doing them. Sometimes you just got to accept reality. And the Darian DeVries thing didn't happen because Iowa wasn't a good enough job to get him when Indiana became available. That's what it came down to.
Inglorious Bastards and Django Unchained, two of his greatest movies.
Inglorious Bastards, I liked.
I got bored with it, but it was interesting at times.
Thought it was good.
You got bored with which?
Inglorious Bastards? Yeah, there's times I just got bored with it.
Oh, Jesus. You're the same guy that doesn't like Young Frankenstein, right? Too,
Yes,
right?
I hate Young Frankenstein.
Okay.
Loved Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm not big into That's Mel Brooks, right? Other than Blazing Saddles, it doesn't work for me.
Ooh, boy.
Blazing Saddles doesn't work for you?
No, I said it, except for Blazing Saddles.
Oh,
that's the one I do like.
All right.
Yeah, Blazing Saddles is da bomb.
I thought Glorious Bastards was.
I thought it was
boring.
okay. I just got bored with it.
Yeah, I
when
did
is this
too.
thing going to end?
I did too.
I did not.
Well, you liked it because they were bastards.
Misspelled.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Yeah, I just got.
Well,
bored.
Django Unchained, I made it through like 5 minutes.
I didn't
of that.
see
I'm
Django
like,
Unchained.
It didn't interest me.
I didn't
watch it. But no, Inglourious Bastards. I thought it was boring. You didn't
But
think
no,
it
at
was
least
boring?
he added some more. Yeah, I mean, he's done more movies than I couldn't remember. I would not have remembered.
You
those
didn't
movies.
think it was boring?
No.
I thought it.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I thought it dragged.
The theaters. I just thought it just
No,
dragged.
I enjoyed it.
Okay. Hello.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, what?
Don Shaky's got in the West.
I've seen that. See,
Bleak.
I'll be objective. The Don Knotts movies didn't work for me.
Bleak.
They
No,
didn't.
not good.
And what was the Apple Dumpling Gang with Tim? That's
Yeah, terrible.
Just didn't work. He should have stayed with Andy. He sucked the heart out of that show when he left. Now he made money.
What about the incredible Mr. Lippin?
Didn't work for me. Mr. Furley didn't work for me. I didn't like Mr. Furley that much.
You know what kills me is his family. They put up a statue of him as Barney, and his family was all incensed. He was much more than that.
Well,
you know,
he was, but that's what he's remembered for.
Yeah.
And why not? He was,
all these people that have these signature roles like him, you know, they get tired of it. They're typecast, but then later on, they seem to accept it again.
Many do.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot worse things in life than being remembered as being one of the greatest. What was that? A comedy supporting role and yeah. I mean. But no, the Furley stuff, Three's Company didn't work for me.
The whole show didn't.
I just thought it was
worked
stupid.
for me. I didn't like the Ropers.
And I liked the Ropers more than I liked Mr. Furley. I really did. But
I don't think I ever watched either of them.
Because Mr. Roper looked like my high school baseball coach, and I always got a kick out of that.
Was that in the 80s?
Yes.
Yeah, you were on the road.
Yeah, so.
But Three's Company never worked for me.
No. The Regal Beagle.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing was just, him.
Wasn't Jack posing to be gay? Wasn't he posing,
was posing to be gay?
So they weren't violating any moral codes or
Yeah.
something? Yeah, it was just stupid. Yeah. It was kind of woke.
No, they would have admitted. If it was woke, they would have.
No, you're right. Yeah,
they would have admitted.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
But no, Barney's. Those movies were stupid. The Tim Conway Apple Dumpling movies were just terrible. I tried to watch, but they were just
Disney
dumb.
Movies. Well, what do you want?
Something other than that.
Yeah, that's all. And then the Mr. Lippett thing. Did you watch that?
No, yeah, it's
I just didn't.
ridiculous.
I just thought that was stupid.
That was
I'm like, Barney, what are you doing? Get back to Mayberry.
I kind of like the fish.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't.
Well,
work
it's
for me.
for kids. Those things were for kids.
Now I got to give Andy credit. Matlock was. I mean, I never
Matlock
really.
went longer.
It was a
than-
decent show.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Matlock? Although you were on the road.
I
then.
think it was 80s. Wasn't
But
it?
it survived. It was a popular. Yeah, it was from like 86 to 92 or 3,
Yeah.
wasn't it? But wasn't it really popular?
Went through 2 networks, ABC and NBC.
Yeah.
No, it's
And I watched some of those reruns, and they're pretty interesting.
Hello.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. What about the Ghost and Mr. Chicken?
No.
Just the name alone,
No.
I rest my case.
I gave it a shot, and then I gave it a
Terrible.
chance. I gave it a chance, and I remember crying about halfway through.
Oh, my God. Goodbye.
Yeah, just the name alone, and it's eliminated.
I just broke down and became an emotional heap. I couldn't take anymore. No, but when you say that outside, he was kind of a bust. Those movies weren't that popular, were they? Or were they?
Yes, they were.
Oh, they were popular.
The fish one was real popular.
Well, so were the other ones.
The Apple Dumpling Gang stuff was popular?
He made a ton of money off of those.
And good for him.
I mean, he did do. Yeah, he made a ton of money off of
And
it.
that's why he left, money.
And they're still being run.
No, you're right. I don't know.
And they're still crappy.
Well, I mean, it's for, maybe if you were 7 or something, you'd like to watch the fish.
Probably not.
Apple dump.
Well, you don't like seafood.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe that's the reason.
It's a good point.
I can't eat meat today, so I got to rely on fish to get through.
Yeah. Can't you have a grilled cheese?
I guess I could do that. Maybe I will do that.
Go to Marco's,
I might
get
do that.
a grilled cheese.
And I can get some. I can go to Marco's, get a grilled cheese, and get a bowl of soup at Panera, and that would. And I would be still on the good. I would still be on God's good side. Because that's all it's about. It's trying to stay on God's good side, right?
All I know is I didn't have supper last night, and
You're ravenous?
I'm ravenous.
I'll bet.
And you're going to go eat like a meal with a ton of meat in it, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I'm Jewish.
So what? You put your TV dinner in and forgot about it?
Yeah, well, what do you get? I forgot.
So where are you going for lunch?
At the time, I have no idea. I got to ask Jan what she wants me to bring home. I don't know. I could go for anything at this point.
I'm guessing at some point today I'll be eating either a cheese pizza of some kind, either frozen.
That sounds good.
Fish sticks. Although you can't get
Not
fish
so
sticks.
much.
All the fish sticks now are minced fish. They don't do any, and I don't like minced.
What do you mean mince?
I just
chopped up.
Chopped way.
Oh.
It's just I don't like.
Oh,
them
okay.
I don't like them that way. Or I'll be getting like that thing from Culver's. Isn't Arby's pretty good?
Arby's is good.
I may try Arby's.
Yeah, Culver's is the best fish.
I
take it back. Midtown actually has the best fish, but Culver's is like second.
No, Hy-Vee's got some interesting things made up, like bags to broil, like seafood things that you can boil, and it's got like cut up corn on the cob, crawfish, shrimp. I may get one of those tonight too.
What do you think, Suter?
About what?
Crawfish.
No like?
Not a big fan of crawfish, but a lot of the other stuff in there. It's got. I think it has. It may have sausage in it. I guess I could pick it out.
Or you could just eat
But
it.
the hardcore Catholic would say, but that
or
broth.
you could just eat it.
But the hardcore Catholic would say, but that broth is simmering in that sausage, which means that sausage meat is oozing into the broth, and you're eating the meat, and you're sinning.
The Pope say, don't worry about it.
Oh, did he say?
I thought he said
I could be
that.
convinced really
I thought
easy.
he did too.
Then all right, then.
But I'm not Catholic, so
I am,
will
but
not
look it up. If I can eat meat today, I'm going to.
But I thought he did.
I thought there were stipulations, but I could be wrong. Because that's been a long-standing tradition on Ash Wednesday and every Friday. And so far, I've stuck with it. But like last week, I did it and I overate because I ate the Culver sandwich with a bunch of fries, and then I ate later on tilapia with a bunch of fries, and that's a lot of batter and
it's a lot of fries.
And it just weighed on me like a.
Fundamental aspect of the Lenten message is the emphasis on community and the idea that Christians must walk together rather than in isolation.
What about meat? Care about togetherness.
Okay, the Pope Francis said Catholics should eat whatever you want during Lent.
Did he really?
That's what it says here, and it was quoted in USA Today.
How long ago? Hell,
February 19th, 2024.
Wow.
Yeah, he went on to say, it's not up to him to condemn you to hell. It's purely God's will.
Well, that doesn't exactly.
No, he didn't say that.
Oh, okay. So is this all just made up, or is that?
No, he said you could eat what you want.
Well, I had my eye on a ribeye at Hy-Vee last night.
Eat whatever you want for Lent. The sacrifice is not in the stomach, but in the heart.
In the mind. Okay, in the soul. I get it. I did have my eye on this ribeye, this extra thick ribeye. It looks so good. And I looked, and it was $32.70 at Hy-Vee.
That'd be, a couple of meals for you?
Well, yeah, I don't. But I think $33 for a steak at a grocery store
seems like a lot. How big of a steak?
Oh, it was decent size. It was 14 to. That's still a lot of. That's a restaurant price for a steak.
Yeah,
Francis went on to say, it's less important to follow dietary restrictions than to seek a deeper relationship with God through better treatment of others.
Well, I agree with that.
I do too.
Okay, so you agree with that, yet you call me Liberace.
That was meant as a compliment. Just you're engaging. Just you're bombastic and engaging
and the feathered clothing that you wear every day.
You question I and Hunter's relationship.
How did I question you and Hunter's relationship? Hunter, he's sucking you into this. Hunter's over it.
Yeah.
And who would I? Yeah, no, you're in your Michael J. They showed a video of the 1969 Oscars, and he was one of the guys being nominated for support from Bonnie and Clyde. And they showed all of them. You know, when they announced him, he looked so awkward and uncomfortable there. It was just strange.
He was like that.
56 years ago.
1960. It was.
He looked like that in Andy Griffith.
Well, Gene Hackman, I think, wasn't he nominated for Bonnie and Clyde too? Weren't they both nominated as supporting actors? I watched that movie. I didn't think that movie was as great as everyone made it out to be. I enjoyed it, but wasn't it considered like a masterpiece?
Yeah, and it was different for the time.
Was it? Okay, see, I guess I couldn't really.
Yeah.
I watched it years later.
I liked it.
I liked it.
It had very little bearing with history.
No.
But it was...
how much of it was embellished?
Oh, maybe 80%, 90%.
Really? See, that's kind of... Was their life not interesting enough to be a movie going around robbing banks all over?
They were vicious and
they made them out,
Wasn't it Faye Dunaway?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Warren Beatty.
Faye Dunaway didn't look a single thing like
No,
Bonnie.
not at all.
No, Bonnie, she was not...
She was rough.
But it was...
She
a
looked more
lot
like
of it
Ruth,
was embellished.
She looked more like Ruth Buzzy than Faye Dunaway. Didn't
They
she?
made like people looked at them as heroes, and some people did.
But they weren't, obviously.
But they were scared
scum.
to death of them.
They were scum.
Oh, yeah. They were sociopaths.
Yeah. They tried to romanticize them. Is that fair to say?
Oh, they did romanticize.
Why would they do that? They just thought that'd be a better movie? Well, obviously it worked.
Well, you don't want to go and see people that you absolutely hate.
Well, I think now people thrive on that.
The movies now are either Marvel movies or comics or.
See, I have no interest in those.
Marvel stuff. I don't get.
Tommy really likes it.
Yeah, more power if that's your thing. Fine.
Or slasher movies, and I don't want to.
I'm tired of slasher
like those
movies.
either.
No.
The Scream stuff, isn't there like Scream 10?
Something.
Yeah, and I don't like any of that stuff.
Well, that was based on the guy that interviewed Licklider.
I have to admit, you mean Fran, not Licklider.
Yeah, what did
I have to admit, you said I actually went to
sorry.
that. I actually went to that again yesterday to turn on just because I wanted to hear that guy scream.
He just gets louder as he goes on.
Yeah,
yeah.
But
some people would lose their voice, but he actually gets louder.
I just thought that was odd. I'm talking to Todd Licklider.
Fran McCaffrey.
No, Fran McCaffrey. Why did I say Licklider?
Same reason he did, apparently.
It doesn't matter. The point is he was screaming.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that guy wouldn't have been talking to Todd Licklider after he got fired. I'm guessing this is somebody that Fran is known for. He's from, I think it said he's from New Jersey, and he's a former coach and what have you. But Fran, I haven't seen Fran. Have you seen him quoted anywhere else?
No.
Like I said, I reached out to him one time right after it was just said it was a privilege covering you if you want to come on. But I'm not going to keep, I haven't seen him talk with anyone in the Iowa media. I don't think he's going to be talking to Andy Fales. Did you ever hear the What's Bugging Andy thing?
Yeah.
Wow, he went off on him.
Why wouldn't you want to listen to Andy Succeeds?
You'd rather hear. So do you know?
He's negative. He's a negative guy.
Do you know Andy Succeeds?
No.
You could do like Mr. Optimist, Mr. Pessimist. Andy Succeeds, Andy fails. You could do that.
Yeah.
But no, he went off on his about 5-minute rant, just ripping the McCaffreys. And part of it was not doing their show.
Oh, Jesus.
That was part of it. But
a lot of people that won't do this show.
And he went off on all the temper tantrums. They had them all listed chronologically. Yeah, the temper tantrums were a problem. But like I said, at the end here, he didn't have temper tantrums. That was a problem because people said he didn't care. He couldn't win.
No.
And I'm guessing Iowa told him to tone it down, and he toned it down.
If you're doing, I don't care if you're a disc jockey, podcast, or whatever, you're not bigger than the story. You're not bigger than your subject.
And that's not why he was let go. I'm sure, we got the problem with attendance. We haven't been to the tournament in 2 years, and he will not go on these certain shows and show respect to certain members of the media. We got to get rid of him. I mean, that's just ludicrous to think that. I mean,
Nobody's ever bigger than their subject.
No.
No.
But the fans and the record, there was enough Beth felt justified in getting rid of him without the media has nothing to do with it.
That's a problem with like these podcasters, most of them.
We all take ourselves too serious.
Yeah, is they get, they're bigger than the subject.
But they're really not.
No, not at all.
They're really not. And like I said, the media relationship with Fran had nothing to do with him.
He was great with us.
Do I think Fran needed to do more with fans? Yes. Looking back on it,
Yeah.
I think he was stubborn. I do think he needed to do more public handshakes.
He needed to do more with fundraising.
But again, I
obviously.
come back to the question: what the hell ever happened to the iClub circuit? I know I've got to Google that because I think I've even written them. Why did they quit doing them?
I tried to Google it.
So I need to ask somebody. The iClub used to make those coaches go out and do, and they did. They do like 5 or 6 of them during the spring. And Fran was out there. He was out there, shaking hands. And
we broadcast those
the breakfast thing. Padaski used to go to those. I'd cover them every once in a while. Kirk got rid of that. Kirk didn't want to do that.
Right. It was bad radio, but people liked it.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah. And
Padaski had all those opportunities to eat free food, and instead he brought like bark and granola bars and ate them out of a brown bag. Instead of he'd pass on all the free food they'd offer you.
Did he really?
I'm kidding.
Oh,
I think you had to pay for your meal. When I went and covered it for the Press Citizen, I do remember, which was fine. But I remember you could leave those things full. I mean, there was a lot of there was a lot of breakfast food.
No, good food.
But that Kirk for some reason brought an end to that. I don't remember why, but
because he didn't want to do it.
And I just
simple
think,
as that.
And I just think that's in the long run, that's probably not. Well, a good
didn't
idea.
they say they got to practice in the morning?
Well, I think that was officially the killer.
Yeah. Then when he moved it to the morning, I get that. But what I'm saying, though, is I think you're not helping your cause by limiting your contacts with fans, do you? I think that doesn't help.
Not at all.
No,
and I think that's where Fran just didn't really seem either willing or he just wasn't willing to look at that as being part of something that needed to improve, and I think it cost him.
Hello.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. It's John Ballmer. Just weighing in. We play Ohio State in baseball this afternoon. I'm assuming Caden Obermiller will be pitching this afternoon. Is that correct? So we're going to go.
Yeah, he's been the Friday starter.
Okay, good. Well, you know it'll be windy and chilly like it normally is over there, so person needs to bundle up for sure. So
there you go.
Yeah. Hey, I watched the Drake game last night. You had people opine on that. What I was impressed about was that they played defense and their passing was superb, I thought. And their steals, they were,
had a lot of steals.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
They had a lot of steals. You're right. Did like 10 steals, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, some news. They've moved the starting time for today's baseball game now at 3. Is that because it's going to get so cold and windy today?
Oh, is it 3? I'm glad you said something, Pat.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock, and like I said, I wish
tonight the temperature's going to drop.
I wish I could cover it, but with all this coaching, I can't leave
like a rock. Yeah,
I just can't. I don't have anyone to cover the game, but I'll put up. Iowa does a good job of giving you information. I'll post that stuff later. But yeah, today's game begins at 3 o'clock. The only problem with that is good luck finding anyone to park. I guess would try the ramp. Ramp 3 would be my suggestion.
Well, remember it's spring break too.
Oh, that's true. That will help. Spring break will help.
Yeah,
that should open up some. But yeah, 3 o'clock today.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it because we bought season tickets just because that way we would have a reserved seat and it'd be something, I mean, even though they're not the most comfortable things in the world, but it's worth something.
Well, they're more comfortable than the bleachers.
You got that right, for sure.
Yeah.
Say, this whole thing with the coaching situation, we're going to land all right on this, I think. And with basketball, as you know, you can get it. You can put together a team pretty quickly. Look what he did at Drake with the transfers he brought in from D2 schools. Good Lord.
Very true.
Pretty impressive.
Doesn't mean you can do it at Iowa, maybe. I don't know.
I think it could be done. I mean, you watch a lot of these games, and God, it puts my head on a spindle because they're always talking about the kid from Michigan, Robinson. Didn't he come from Auburn? It's just nuts.
Yeah, I mean, you can build a roster. I'm not
Yeah.
sure you'd want to build a Big Ten roster with 4 Division II guys. It worked at Drake.
No. Well, I agree, Pat, but just it shows you the coaching ability.
Oh, he's a good coach.
No,
I mean,
no question.
But I'm going back. Todd Licklider was a good coach. Todd Licklider knew X's and O's, obviously. He couldn't recruit at Iowa. He could not recruit at Iowa. He just couldn't.
And the people he did have that were good, he alienated.
He alienated him because he was a weirdo.
Yeah, because he did have good people.
Well, some.
He just
he did.
He had okay players. He didn't recruit very well. But
he was a strange ranger because I had him at an event and kind of kept his head down all the time. You know, you hardly want to talk. It was just weird.
He was always.
They couldn't get him up. I'm sorry.
He was always nice to me at the Hy-Vee.
Have you ever heard that before?
Never.
You're kidding. He was nice to you, Steve?
I've never heard that before. You never brought that up.
He's always smiling, happy-go-lucky.
I love your unpredictability. We never know what's coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, happy-go-lucky. That's right.
Weirdo. The David Palmer stuff still ranks amongst the weirdest,
bizarre
stuff I've ever covered at Iowa.
Oh, he was. Yeah. Anyway,
imagine if Fran would have had David Palmer.
The other thing was this story on Tyler Sash's brother Josh, who's on Drake's staff. I thought that was a good story.
Yeah.
And he sounds like he's a pretty a good individual. Like maybe, let's say hypothetically, if McCullough gets a job, he'll probably bring him along. I would guess if he wants.
Who knows?
Yeah, I mean that would make sense.
Yeah,
they often do.
Yeah, and the other thing that's to me anyway, if all pans out, I would guess that Matt Gatens would apply for the Drake job. That's just a guesstimate on my part.
Or he might be on the Iowa staff.
Or I'm on the Iowa staff. I mean, either way, I think Matt's going to land well because I think Beth Getz likes him and likes the fact that he's got the Iowa connection and the roots, and so. But if he wants to continue coaching, he needs that head coaching resume too. I mean, as far as
that's true.
Head job. So
yeah.
Anyway, well, gentlemen, have a great weekend.
Jeff Horner may apply.
How's your knee coming along?
Jeff Horner may apply for the Drake job.
It's doing fine. It's getting a little better every day.
Yeah. That's good. Well, that's good. You're not complaining as much. Well, you're complaining about Trump, but I understand that.
It's because I hate him.
Now, Steve, I had a New Year's resolution. I don't hate anybody. I just like them. I dislike them intensely.
Well,
I'm not hating anybody these days. Okay.
I hate one person.
Oh, gee. My goodness, Stephen. We're 70 plus years young. We've got our time on Earth is short. We got to make our move here to be nicer.
What's the move? To Lansing? What are you talking about?
Well, I've already paid for that. So.
Oh, there you go.
See you later, John.
Talk to you later.
What channel is ESPN 2? Because Michigan and Iowa State are on right now, the women.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So are we done?
Well, no, we have a phone call.
Hello?
Hey, I just, this is Warren in Iowa City. Hey, I just thought I'd chime in on the iClub. Those iClub breakfasts before the football games, were always a lot of fun. I didn't go to a lot, but, every couple of years I'd go to one. And, back with Hayden Fry coming in, and they were just a blast. And I wasn't a big Steve Alford fan, but I remember one morning I got sat down at a table with Alford, and he was very gracious, for just like, hey, Coach, and he was gabbing it up. And they were just a lot of fun. I think the fans really liked them, and I really think that's a loss. I get the reason that, Ferentz decided he didn't want to do it anymore, but that was a really kind of a colorful part of, the Hawkeye weekend and everything.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think the iClubs were the same thing.
Yeah.
I think they served a valuable purpose.
I'm sure there's a reason, but I don't know what it would be.
You'd see a lot of, dads with their kids taking them to it.
Yeah.
It was just a really good way to get some fans and spirit and everything.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I'd like to see them come back. All right.
I would too.
Well, that's definitely something to ask Beth down the road. It's actually something to ask Brad Heinrich, too, because to me, they would benefit. NIL, to me, would benefit more than anything by bringing back some more
fan-friendly
events. I think they need more of that. And I think if they were events that they said to Fran, hey, you got to do these, he was going to do them. I mean, Fran went to iClubs. He was good at the Fran's good in situations like that. He can hold a room and what have you. But I do think that is one area where Fran got a little lax, and he just didn't win enough to offset all the other stuff.
Yep.
Iowa State is trailing Michigan 12-8.
12-8?
Yeah, and it's the first quarter.
Okay. Yeah, Michigan's, man, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Didn't Iowa beat them?
I
think Iowa beat them, didn't
we
they?
did.
Yeah. So,
but they are, man, they're young. They got 3.
Don't they have someone named Silas Swords?
Silas Swords.
What an interesting name. Silas Swords. What do you think of that?
And
Jeff?
she is terrific. But the freshman of the year in the Big Ten is Olivia Olson, who also plays for Michigan.
But she doesn't have the same. Her name's not Silas Swords.
No, it is not.
That's a really good name. So
there she is.
That's her.
Silas Swords. What's she doing? She's
talking to Kim Barnes-Arico, her coach.
Yeah. All right. I think we're done, aren't we?
I think we're done, Steve.
Are we done?
Yes.
No police reports today because Tommy Lang's a slacker.
Yeah, he's with Justin Roberts watching basketball.
Oh, good. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
And so instead, Molly Suter is next. We'll have a fine program as always. And speaking of fine, hawkfanatic.com. Check it out. It's free.
Download the new KCJJ app.